In Washington, the U.S. House of Representatives easily passed an $800 billion economic stimulus plan, but the going has been tougher in the Senate, where the price tag is higher on the draft now being debated. I caught up with New Mexico's newly elected U.S. Senator Tom Udall to find out the current thinking on that bill.
It's passed the House. There are already meetings taking place on the House side about how to conference this. Our plan in the Senate, and I'm talking about our leadership, and these are plans that have been announced, is to get this out, and if there's going to be resistance, then we may have to have a vote over the weekend and have it out by Monday. But then we'll have an entire week to get it into conference, and we hope by mid-February to have this on the President's desk for him to sign. So we're very encouraged about the plan itself, the good impact it's going to have, and to make sure that we get this done quickly, because almost all reputable economists are saying that we needed this a long time ago, and so it's none too soon.
What about resistance to the plan?
Well, there are critics of the plan. There's no doubt about it, and we're debating those issues on the floor. But I think the critics they're wrong on this one. I think we're doing a plan, number one, that is going to help with jobs and economic growth. I think we're going to hold people accountable. We're going to have oversight. We may have committees and the GAO that overlook this, and when we send money down to the localities, we're going to want them to be transparent and accountable also there in the communities. And so I'm urging also citizens to monitor this. Since the President said he's going to put much of this information on websites, I hope the citizens are out and monitoring these things and making sure that their money is being well spent, because the purpose of this is to get us on the path of economic recovery, and we can do that if we all put our minds to it.
You and Senator Bingaman have signed on to a plan. You're co-sponsoring a measure to make it easier for states to manage the money and use it than would otherwise have been provided under the provisions. How does that work?
Well, the basic idea is to make sure that we can get this in the hands of the people and the government entities that are going to spend it wisely, make sure people that are hired, and then really head off this downturn that is being contributed to by states cutting back. Bill, one of the things, and we know from Governor Richardson's speech to the legislature and the legislators talking about this also, they're expecting almost $450 million of cuts in the state budget. Well, this will counteract that, make sure that the state doesn't have to contribute to the downturn, try to stabilize the situation there. So we're trying to cut out the paperwork, cut out the red tape, and make sure that you still have oversight and accountability and transparency.
When will the Senate be able to get around to anything else other than financial recovery, although this is extremely important?
Well, I think that by this coming Monday, we should be able to turn our attention to the financial crisis and put our minds to that. I also think we're going to move very quickly to energy, and what I talked about in my speech on the Senate floor was having a renewable electricity piece of legislation passed very soon and get it signed by the President. And then we've got to make sure we have a health care system that doesn't hurt our economy. You know, one of the things that's happening with health care right now is it's too expensive. People are losing health care, and so we've got to make sure that the coverage is out there for all of our citizens, and I think we can do that and do it in a cost-effective way.
Will we be able to get around to affordable, maybe even universal health care?
I would like to see every one of our citizens covered, and that's what I'm fighting for, and I'm going to keep doing that as long as I'm here.
You've got a lot on your plate, renewable energy, health care. What else do you have planned?
The full energy picture is also another part of where we need to focus our energies. And one of the things there is making our buildings more efficient. We met today with Secretary Chu, Nobel Prize winner, going to be a great energy secretary, and he told us he thought in the next 10 years that energy efficiency was going to be the area where we would see the greatest chance to save energy and to make a contribution to economic recovery. And so I'm going to continue to focus on those bills that I've worked on building efficiency, on fuel efficiency in autos. And we ought to be talking about it being patriotic to drive a high mileage vehicle. I mean, I think that's something that resonates with people now, and I hope they shop with that in mind.
Speaking of the Energy Department, people in Santa Fe and Los Alamos particularly are really scratching their heads, wondering about this idea floating around to separate the national labs from the Energy Department and put them under the military.
I don't think that would be a good idea. I think that we should do everything we can to make sure that our national laboratories are used in a broad way to face all of the challenges. They have a strong national security role, but they have the ability to meet many of the other challenges out there, whether it's homeland security, whether it's energy research. I think that would be a big mistake, and I'm going to let the administration know that I'm going to fight that every step of the way.
Senator Tom Udall.